tonight on Dr. Phil Primetime.
It is a felony of the third degree to put a written threat out there to commit school violence.
An 11-year-old landed in jail after allegedly making a school threat.
My son had never made those threats. He's an absolute angel.
Parents will be perp walked with their children if they know something but did nothing to stop the threat.
You have to take every single one of these threats seriously, and you have to hold people accountable.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, we need to have a serious talk tonight about what's going on in our schools. I've been doing this for a long time, and I've seen my fair share of troubling trends. But what's happening with school shootings and threats is getting downright alarming. Let me just lay it out for you. We're barely into 2025, and we've already had 40 school shooting incidents in this country. 5 have resulted in deaths. Every time we hear about another school shooting, we ask, could this have been stopped? The truth is, in most cases, the warning signs are there. 94% of school shooters show clear red flags before they act. And yet, time and time again, tragedy strikes. Now, I have delved into this issue many times. Check this out.
I sent him off to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, as I had, for all of his schooling, and I thought he would come home to me. I never thought that Alex would be murdered in his English class.
There are identifiable markers on the path of a shooter. They show copycat behavior, meaning they study other shooters. They idolize these people. They fantasize about these people.
The Oxford school shooter spent a lot of time watching really violent content online for hours and hours, playing violent video games, studying other perpetrators. He particularly saw himself in the Parkland shooter. And then the leakage in this case is what's really stunning.
94% of these people tell at least one person what they're going to do and when they're going to do it before it ever happens.
Several students were concerned about the Parkland perpetrator. This was somebody that was, again, documenting their preparations on social media and was posting on social media and filming themselves talking about this particular type of crime.
People knew that this was going to happen 2 or 3 months before the school shooting happened. Kids knew and an adult knew, and nobody told anybody.
Just based off the 10 randomly chosen school shooters we pulled, they universally shared 94% of consistent life experiences, meaning they traveled down a very similar and identifiable path. Well, in the wake of these shootings, we're seeing a tsunami of threats flooding our schools. These aren't just harmless pranks. We're talking about serious incidences that are costing schools and law enforcement big time. In 2022 alone, the FBI reported 6,000 threats against schools. That's a 60% jump from the year before. But here's where it gets interesting. Down in Volusia County, Florida, Sheriff Mike Chitwood is taking a no-nonsense approach. He is arresting students, some as young as 11 years old, who make these threats. Is Sheriff Chitwood's tough love strategy the wake-up call we need to prevent more tragedies? Take a look.
Hundreds of bogus school shooting threats are pushing a Florida sheriff to take controversial new steps. Sheriff Mike Chitwood says that he will name and shame the kids arrested and their parents, too.
Last Friday, we received 54 threats that basically put the school system in my county in chaos. Schools were on lockdown. Kids couldn't learn. Teachers couldn't teach. Parents had it.
You posted another video just yesterday of two more minors, 16, 17 years old, saying they were locked up for a joke threat. Before you started this, did it strike you as problematic that they hadn't yet actually been convicted of a crime?
They were in assembly where they were telling the students what will happen to them if they do a school threat. And in the back of the assembly, they got on Snapchat and they put it out there. So it's time we start respecting the rights of the other 66,000 students in my school district and stop worrying about the knuckleheads that are destroying the quality of life for our school district.
Well, Sheriff, thank you for being here, because it is really important. And these threats, if you don't take them serious and then something happens, they're going to be all over you for negligence, right?
Sir, thank you for having me on. This is really an important topic, and you're exactly right. You have to take every single one of these threats seriously, and you have to hold people accountable.
And if you get a threat and you just say, oh, it's just a kid, being silly, cutting up, and they go up there and shoot up the school, what happens then?
I failed to do my job. I failed my students, I failed my teachers, I failed my parents, and I failed school administrators.
And how many threats have been reported in the last year?
In the last school year, 342. This year, we're over 800. And the big leap in there, Doctor, was what you mentioned about the copycats. What happened in Appalachia, Georgia, the third week of school,
right?
I watched our threats quadruple. We had almost 400 threats in a 2-week time period.
Well, we call that a contagion effect, and we see it among young people in particular in so many areas. We see it in suicides. We see it in those that declare themselves transgender, for example. We see it in all kinds of self-harm if it gets glamorized or glorified on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. There's a contagion effect. People say, oh, well, young people think, well, that's cool, that's getting a lot of attention, so they'll venture into it. And how do the threats come? Are they made in real world, telling others? Are they on social media? Are they written out on bathroom walls? How do they occur? Is it all the above?
It's a combination of all the above. And in Florida, after Parkland, it is a felony of the 3rd degree to put a written threat out there to commit school violence. It's a felony of the 3rd degree.
When you get a threat, what's the first thing you do?
We have a system in Florida, as most states do. It's called Fortify Florida. That's where most of our tips come in. Once that tip comes in, investigators immediately, I don't care if it's midnight or 3 a.m., investigators automatically track that down an IP address, find out where that threat was posted, get out to the house, interview the family, determine if this threat is real, and if we have to do something to lock the school down or do what we need to do. We have to get to the school administrators and tell them, we vetted this, you can open, we'll have extra resources on the ground.
All right, well, we have some social media post examples that are real. I've placed explosives to detonate tomorrow at 3 p.m. in every school in the county. Snapchat message, shooter, I'm a shoot up the school today. Student, shooter, I'm only getting you though. Instagram post, these are the weapons that will be used for the shooting. Again, our goal is to murder up to 350 children. Please message us to join. Must provide your own weapons. These are the kinds of things that you're seeing in the hundreds.
That's correct. 800 this school year so far, up from 342 for all of last year, and our arrests have doubled. We had 18 arrests last school year. We're already at 33.
Wow. All right. So how much manpower, how many man hours are absorbed into tracking these down, vetting them, disqualifying them, or whatever?
It's dozens of hours, if not hundreds of hours per threat that comes in. Because detectives, there is no wait till the next morning. You automatically, we have teams that respond. We have municipal police departments in our county that respond with us. Because every single threat, we have to treat it as this is actually going to happen. Then you have to bring in extra resources when that school has been threatened, because parents, it's like a 33% absentee rate when parents discover that there was a threat made against that school, 33% of the school population doesn't show up the next day.
I'd be part of that 33%. Bet your ass I'd be home. Coming up, Sheriff Mike Chitwood threatens parents that they too will be perp walked with their children if they know something but did nothing to stop the threat. We'll talk about that when we come back.
So far, 54 tips have come in through Fortify Florida talking about school shootings. All of them have been deemed bogus. We have 2 people in custody. We have another person who we're investigating and probably will take into custody. And you don't get online and post that you're going to shoot up a school. And now, for you parents out there, today's hoax cost around $21,000. There's 2 people in custody. We're coming after you. Your little cherub, we're going to start publishing his face and doing perp walks with him when we take him into custody. And then we're going to show pictures of you, the parents. Because you don't want to raise your kid, Sheriff Chitwood's going to raise them.
That was Sheriff Mike Chitwood of Volusia County, Florida, warning parents that they too will face criminal consequences if they do not parent their children. Now, the sheriff says the number of school shooting threats were keeping them working around the clock. And frankly, he's just had enough. How do y'all get anything else done with 800 threats? This has to drive your response time through the roof for people that are truly in distress and need officers on the scene.
Fortunately, I'm fully staffed and I'm pretty well funded budget-wise, so everything is done on overtime. But the fact that you're chasing these 800 threats, what happens eventually is anybody gets gun shy. Oh, it's another threat. So as opposed to responding at 100 miles an hour, on the tip of your toes looking for what you're looking for, this is the 800th time I'm doing this, I'm gonna slow down. Well, if it's an active assailant, those 2 or 3 minutes could be hundreds of lives that are lost because so many of these threats came in and took away the effectiveness of what we're trying to do.
In a school shooting, something like 90% of the deaths occur in the first 60 seconds. So, that's why we have to focus on prevention instead of intervention. Even if there's a resource officer on campus, it happens fast because, obviously they're armed, the students aren't, and they start spraying bullets. So you've got to respond to these threats and try to stop them before anything happens. That's why it's so important they take them seriously. I want to put up a scroll behind me that displays some of the results of reported threats that we found occurring across the country. Now, the majority of these incidences took place just in September and October. Look at this, just on and on and on. When you do intervene, when you do talk to the parents and the kid, what's the typical response? What do they say?
Well, the first response is, if you look at the arrest photos we put up, those kids show no remorse. When they're being taken out, you're blurring their faces. They show no remorse. They never apologize, and it's very a matter of factly. And the parents overwhelming is, not my Johnny, not my Janie. It was a joke. Well, there's a lot of parents that drop their kids off at school in this country, 8 o'clock in the morning, and said, I'll be back to get you at 2:30, and kissed them, and 2:30 never comes. And I wish there was a way that these little knuckleheads and their families could understand the pain that is in this country, that their kids are never coming home again. This is not a joke.
Listen, I've talked to all the way back to Columbine and so many school shootings between now and then. And it's not just the victims, those that are maimed or those that are killed and the pain in their family, but hundreds of thousands of students that go through the school shootings but aren't actually shot, but are traumatized by what happened. It changes people forever. This is a terrible, terrible tragedy.
Amen. I couldn't agree with you more. A parent grabbed me one day and she said, my little 8-year-old daughter was in the lavatory when the school went into lockdown, and she's taught to climb up on the toilet and stay there in silence for 45 minutes. I have people want to focus on the 33 arrests we made. What about that little girl and all of those other students that are in lockdown constantly when these threats come in? What about them? What's their future look like?
Yeah, I talked to a survivor from the Uvalde school shooting that was 10 years old, and her best friend got up to go try to make a phone call for help, and she got shot. And this little girl hid under a number of bodies and put blood and brains all over her face so she looked dead. And the shooter came back in that room and tried to make sure she was dead with all of this spread across her face. And I talked to her after the fact with her parents, and she was so traumatized. And the main experience she was having was guilt for being alive when her best friend and classmates were dead. And the scars that she bears for the rest of her life that she's going to have to deal with and manage. And then people make threats. You have to take it seriously. You have to respond. Do you think that arresting some of these kids, teens, preteens, whatever, do you think this has a chilling effect in your county? They're like, hey, I do this, they're going to find me and they're going to yank me up and put me in jail.
I can tell you our threats have dropped to single digits. But what's important is the kid that's making the threat, we're making sausage here. They're arrested for a felony. They're charged, and in some cases, they're held in secure facility for up to 2 weeks. That's the front end of the sausage maker. What comes out in the back end is completely different because they're mandated to undergo intensive mental health treatment. Is there anger management issues? What's the school issues? What's the home issues? They're on probation. They're on an ankle monitor. So there's a whole bunch of steps that are put into place that they're now ready to turn around, and the professionals are able to say, okay, this kid can come back to school. This kid can be homeschooled, or we really have to watch this kid because this kid is potentially going to be your next school shooter. So that's how the system plays its way out.
So it's dropped dramatically.
It's dropped dramatically if the young person and their family do everything that the judges and the psychologists and the social service agencies put on them. Then they can come out on probation on the other end where the felony charge will go away if they mandate all that. But the good thing is we're getting in there and discovering problems that may not have been evident to a lot of people once that spotlight is put on them.
Well, coming up, there's an 11-year-old that landed in jail after allegedly making a school threat. Now, his mother says law enforcement went too far. She is so upset, she doesn't even want to see you. So we'll excuse you for the brief time that she's here and then bring you back. I think she should deal with it, but she chooses not to, and we'll respect that. But we have a lot more to talk about, so we'll talk to her when we come back.
Sheriff Mike Chitwood posted this video on social media of an 11-year-old middle schooler being arrested in Port Orange, Florida.
The 11-year-old, so we understand one another here, what you didn't tell is he had over a dozen knives, he had over 20 airsoft weapons, and he had a kill list. And on that kill list was the bus driver, the nurse, and a bunch of his fellow students. And my county overwhelmingly supports what we're doing.
Well, Jesse, the mother of that 11-year-old you just saw being arrested for an alleged school shooting threat, says her son was just a victim of another student's joke. Tell me how this unfolded from your point of view.
My son accepted a FaceTime call from 3 other students, and they were all doing room tours. My son had been recently given a 20-gallon tote by a man at a community yard sale of airsoft toys, accessories that go on an airsoft toy. And this all resulted from that FaceTime call. One of the children, the one I believe we're going to call him the bully, then got off of that FaceTime call, started a group chat with 32 children from 2 local middle schools, saying that my son was going to commit a school shooting. Not that my son had ever made those threats. He wouldn't hurt a fly. He's an absolute angel. This is a child that's never had a referral, never been in trouble. I've never had to spank him. He's never told a lie. He's an honor roll student. This has been a nightmare.
Let's talk about the group chat that was going on. And in the group chat, they said, next school shooter, you're on the kill list. He showed us like 8 knives and like 6 guns, is a threat. So these were kids talking about your son.
Right. My son wasn't even in that group chat.
And were the guns toys?
They were airsoft toys.
Were the knives toys?
They were his grandpa's. It was his grandpa's collection of knives and swords and World War II memorabilia.
But they were real.
The swords.
The knives?
They were like samurai swords. Yeah. Yes, he did.
Did he have a kill list? Did he have a kill list?
He had what the child told him to write was a hate list, a list of kids. My son didn't even know how to spell the children's names that were on the list. So he wrote it different ways and with the wrong spelling. He didn't even know the kids.
Well, spelling them right or wrong doesn't mean he doesn't have a kill list. Did he have a list or did he not?
He did. He had a list that the other child admitted to telling him to write. This was not, a list that he wrote. If my son was guilty of anything, he's guilty of being influenced to write a list of names that this other child, the children he didn't like, not the...
And this other child was arrested also?
Correct. And they released my son.
Okay. But you're saying that your son had zero culpability?
For?
Anything?
My son was innocent from the beginning. This child admitted to making this joke up that he knew it was a hot topic on YouTube is why he did this.
And you just think your son did nothing wrong? Zero, zip,
No,
not a...
they were doing room tours. He never said he would hurt anybody. He never planned on taking anything to school, never said he was taking anything to school. He was innocently showing his toys.
How did he get identified as making a threat?
From the other little boy that admitted to making all of this up. I believe in a 38-minute interview, he said like 19 times it was a joke. They flat out asked, did my son make any threats? And he said, no.
This is an arrest affidavit. Admitted to writing the text messages, however stated he was joking, but also wanted to scare people.
That was from the other little boy.
This is the bully.
Correct.
That wrote this.
Correct.
So you're saying your son got caught up in this?
The worst nightmare I could ever imagine.
Did you tell him that he had any responsibility for this at all?
No, we have been by his side and been his biggest support system. We know that child inside and out and knew from the beginning this was a horrible mistake.
Okay, so you don't think he even allowed himself to be influenced?
I think that, yes, from the other kid telling him he was a new child at a school, and I think he was just listening to what the boy was telling him to say.
And did you talk to him about peer pressure? Did you?
Afterwards?
Yeah.
We've had a long talk about trusting people and how not to be influenced or,
Because I heard you talking to your son that night and you said, listen, I love you, but this is not okay.
Because at that point, we didn't know. We didn't have the body camera footage. We didn't know anything. We didn't know anything at all that night.
So you don't think he made a threat?
No, I know he never made a threat.
And this list that he made, you say he made the list. It was his handwriting.
Correct.
And it included teachers and nurses and all. What was the list about?
He wrote down what the other boy told him to write. They admitted that in their depositions that they told him to write that list and what to write on it.
Why did he think he was writing it?
He was just an 11-year-old little boy just In no way, shape, or form did he ever want to hurt anyone or make a threat.
I'm not saying that he wanted to kill anybody, but I'm saying, did he think he was writing a list that equated to a threat?
No, he thought that they were telling him to write a hate list, not a kill list, not, that he was going to be targeting anyone or anything like that.
When they showed up at the house, was that the first you heard of it?
Yes.
School hadn't said anything to you?
No, nothing ever happened on school campus.
He didn't tell you that anybody had said anything to him, that there was an investigation going on?
No, we had no idea.
And if he had made a threat against the school, would that be something you would take seriously?
Absolutely.
And if others made a threat at the school, would you want to know it?
Absolutely.
You would want to be alerted to that.
Of course.
How has this impacted your son?
He's traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been horrible. We have a hard time going out in public. It's been a nightmare.
Well, when we return, we're going to meet parents whose 17-year-old son was killed in the 2018 Parkland school shooting. They have some very strong opinions about what Sheriff Chitwood is doing, and we'll talk to them when we come back.
A heartbreaking day in Florida, and sadly an all too familiar one. 17 people are now confirmed dead. We know at least 3 people still in critical condition after police say that a shooter, believed to be just 19 years old, opened fire at his former high school. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas in Parkland, Florida.
On February 14th, 2018, a mass shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, claimed 17 lives, including 17-year-old Joaquin Oliver. His parents, Patricia and Manny, have dedicated their lives to fighting for change. They founded Change the Ref, a nonprofit aimed at empowering youth against gun violence. And let me tell you, they're not messing around. They even made a video game called The Final Exam to show people what it's like to be in an actual school shooting. It is not for entertainment. It's to wake people up. Thank you both for being here and talking about this. When you see video clips that go back to that day, what's your reaction when you see the coverage of that?
Definitely, there's something that is not going away in any form. Actually, our work is to advocate to, prevent gun violence to happening. And our job is to talk about that every single day. So we talk about what happened to Joaquin, who is Joaquin, because I love to talk about Joaquin in present time. And that's what I do mainly.
Is it hard for you to see it?
Well, I wish I was more surprised, like it's becoming so normal. And I also have to let you know that we decided to stay in this path of fighting against gun violence. And that means that we refresh this story every single day. No. Now, we are Joaquin's parents, so we're not the victims here. We lost our son, and we're just parenting in a different way.
Yeah, of course. You heard the sheriff and I talking about, he's on this path with you. He's fighting against this. And, I said that so many of the deaths happen within the first minute. He's working to stop these things before they happen, which I think prevention is so critical. And I've said so many times that we know so much more about school shooters than we're actually using to prevent school shootings, that I've been on this campaign for a long time to educate and deputize every student in the school system to know what to look for and how to use that information when they do. How do you feel about what the sheriff is doing?
I think he's doing very well. I think that if every single police department take that example, we could be avoiding more and more shootings happening at school and everywhere else, because those threats come on social media in any kind of form. And the fact that we sometimes, for example, I am a mom. The day I decided to become a mom, that was my highest responsibility. So I will look always after them the whole time. We don't have those kind of parents everywhere. There are parents that they don't pay attention, as you said. So someone has to pay attention because our kids are in jeopardy. Mm-hmm. And that's what I applaud what you're doing.
Thank you.
But the fact is that the counts are still around.
Yep.
And that's something that we have to work at.
Yeah, and you know what? Someone like you will probably have been able to save Joaquin that day. There was a lot of red flags on the criminal that killed my son, and no one paid attention to them. So now I'm here. And by the way, I saw all the segments, and this is the nightmare. This is the real nightmare. There's nothing worse than what happened to Joaquin. So I salute and appreciate what you're doing.
I appreciate that.
Well, imagine being trapped in a nightmare that's all too real, a school shooting where every second counts. Well, Patricia and Manny give us a sneak peek at their game, The Final Exam, and we're going to take a look at that when we come back.
You took my son away from me, and I'm not going anywhere.
Those are the parents of Parkland shooting victim Joaquin Oliver at a congressional hearing on gun rights today.
While they were debating the dangerous actions that the ATF has on gun ownership and the Second Amendment, they were also debating about banning TikTok because it damages our kids' brains. I have to remind people that the autopsy of my son revealed that his brain exploded. But I will not tolerate any more lies from these people. And I really hope that people will realize that they have to get involved like we got involved.
Well, that was Patricia and Manny Oliver speaking to Congress about the dangers of assault rifles and social media. Their latest weapon in this fight is a chilling video game. It's called The Final Exam, and this isn't for entertainment. It's really a visceral simulation that thrusts role players into the terrifying reality of a school shooting. For 10 minutes, players must navigate the chaos, hide from an active shooter, and collect crucial information on gun control measures in order to survive. Let's take a look. Is this game as realistic as you want it to be so people see what's happening?
Yes. We decided to move with this project because the gamer industry is huge. The universe is huge. And it's that way to get to educate people. This game is a survival game, an educational game. As you were mentioning before, in order to the shadow, because we don't show any physically persons, it's just about audio. So it makes it impactful because of the audio. You don't see any weapons. Every time that you see the shadow going anywhere to be able to go out of the game, you need to grab one of these 5 laws that we consider important to move forward. And, we're going to be in a better place if we move with those laws. So every time you go and grab the law, you're going to have a description of that law. And then if you want to go further, you're going to go to the website.
You were speaking to Patricia and Manny at the break from a standpoint of being in law enforcement. What were you saying to them?
As a law enforcement professional for 38 years, we failed your family. And so many other school shootings, law enforcement has failed up front. And I hate to say we're getting better because we're not. Because what does happen is we know we're at the part now where somebody says, oh, there was a school shooting, only 2 people were killed. Only 2 people. It should be no kids are ever killed in school.
And, one of the things that we've learned about school shooters is they're not monsters until they pull that trigger. up until they pull that trigger, their children in pain. And my wife, Robin, has worked with CASA, Court-Appointed Special Advocates, for so long and has said so often, if you get to these children at that crisis moment and there's an adult there to put their arm around their shoulder and help them over that hump, they may never, ever go back to that crisis point again. But it takes somebody to identify and reach out to them. And there's nothing like an adult showing them care and compassion, right? That's why CASA is so important.
You're so right. There are so many children in so many homes in America right now that have no one to speak to, no one to tell that they are in turmoil, they're in pain every day. And when they have someone that maybe they've never met before, but they know care enough to come to them, to talk to them on the phone, to get together with them for even 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes a week, and let them know, I'm here for you. You can tell me anything. It literally changes their lives and the lives of everyone around them. They need one person that they know cares about them and that they can talk to. And it literally can save their life and lives of others.
Intervening, even if it's stopping these threats, if 100 of them are idle threats and one of them was going to take action and you intervene and do a body check on them, just think what that means. Think what that could have meant to Joaquin, to the other children at that school. As frustrating as it is, you're saving lives every time you do that. And maybe 99 of them weren't going to do anything, but if you hit that one that was and stop it before it happens, it's world-changing for the kids that lose their life, for all of those around them that are traumatized for the rest of their life. It just makes all the difference in the world. So don't get fatigued. Don't give up. You feel like you're running uphill behind a big boulder, but let me tell you, even little interventions make a huge difference. Final thoughts when we come back. We've been talking about these threats and school shootings, and sadly, there is a contagion effect. There is this infectious thing that goes on, particularly with teens and preteens, and it happens with school shootings. When school shooting happens, everybody needs to go on alert because the chance that another one's going to happen soon after is pretty likely. It's the same thing with swatting. You've had to deal with these swatting examples, right? Where somebody calls in that it's happening.
Yep.
And that gets very expensive. And Robin and I have been victimized by that as well. We've had swatting circumstances where we open the door and there's 30 law enforcement officers standing in our driveway, heavily armed and all, because they don't know. They get these calls and it's a waste of resources. Bad things can happen. People can panic. Somebody can get shot and does get shot sometimes. So what you're doing in reacting to these things is so important. And anything you can do to create empathy by making people experience this, even vicariously, I can tell you psychologically is a huge mover. It brings it home to people. And the fact of the matter is, if you don't know what's going on with your child, it's your job to know. We've had school shootings where parents say, well, I had no idea that my child had an AK-47 and 3 handguns and a 12 gauge. Well, you know what, Mom, Dad, it's your job to know. It is your job to know what's going on with your child. And the law is changing. You can ask the Crumley family, in Detroit. They bought their unstable child a gun that he then proceeded to go to school and shoot people with. Well, you're the first one to know if your child is unstable, and that's not the time to buy him a weapon. And if you're the first one to know, you need to raise your hand and get help. I've tried to deputize 50 million students in public school to know what to look for. And telling ain't tattling. It's getting help to someone that can save their life, because most of these are intended to be violent suicides after they kill the people they're going to kill. It's not ratting somebody out. It's probably saving their life and those around them. So, talk to your children, talk to your grandchildren, let them know that they're the last line of defense. They know before the adults do. So we could say a lot more about this, and we will in future episodes, but we're out of time for tonight. I want to thank all of my guests. Sheriff, thank you so much.
Thank you,
appreciate your being here. Manny and Patricia Oliver and Jesse, I thank you guys for being here, and thanks for what you're doing. Please keep doing it. I wrote about this trend and why it's happening in my latest book, We've Got Issues, How You Can Stand Strong for America's Soul and Sanity, and you can pick it up everywhere books are sold, but not you in the audience, because everybody here is going home with a copy. For those of you at home, thank you for watching, and so long. Appreciate it.